Gao actually is my last name. Hong is my first name. But in China, in the traditional, the last name first, because we believe the family come first. And Hong is my first name. And also Chinese name always means something like Gao means very high, Hong means rainbow. So sometimes when I go to a school for young kids, I will tell them, if you cannot remember my name, you can call me High Rainbow. So I was born in China, Luoyang, the small town, small medium town in China. Is a beautiful, beautiful town. But when I say small medium town, people always laugh at me. Guess how many people? 6.8 million from central China. It's kind of the heartland of Zhongyuan, which means the middle heart of the China. Then I go on, became a professional musician for 3 years later. I went to a school in Hebei province for 6 years, and became a teacher there 1 year. Then I went to Beijing's Central Conservatory of Music and continued my school with the Pipa master Lin Shicheng, the most famous Pipa master in our generation, not our generation, in the history. So then I went to Japan in 1993. 1994, I came to America. Now I'm teaching at Carleton College in Northfield. I'm directing a Chinese music ensemble and global music ensemble. I also play the Chinese Pipa. I also compose. So that's, I kind of have a lot of different hats, I guess. So for me is the family. Like I said in early, even the name, you can see it's a little different. Our America is the first name first and then followed with the family name. But in China, you always value the family together. Also the family value. And that's what I miss the most, especially when I came to America by myself. I have no any other relative, and that's the thing I miss a lot. And also, part of a culture. Actually, Chinese food is part of a very, very important, like holidays. You always eat the food around the holiday. Each holiday has a different cuisine and different type of food. And north, south, east, west, whatever it is, the food represented their culture too. So for the Chinese music, they each piece they tell you stories. So you represent a more almost like a Pictionary of music, you know? So that's, I think, and also we have a lot of music related with the family, like a family gathering or Chinese New Year, Lunar New Year, or they have some work song, you know, it related with more like a relationship with the people with nature, the relationship with the people to people, relationship with the holidays. Again, when holidays come, of course, the family got together. And also the, you know, the Buddhism, Taoist, the Kongs, Confucius, and also play a big part of Chinese culture. And and also balance, you know, like a yin and the yang. So you always balance each other. I think that's a very interesting, a little different from what Western world. So when I perform for people, actually, my always have a first piece. It's called the Dragon Boat. So the reason I'm saying that it's not just a storytelling. Most important for me is describe all the sound fact from the pipa you can play. And the Dragon Boat is describe a festival in lunar calendar, May 5th. So that's the festival is because of one a national hero was against the government at that time. So he was betrayed by the government in the old time, and he literally jumped to the river. And because the people love him so much, so then they worried the fish will eat him. So then the people will make a stick rest, like a stick rest cake or like a big triangles. And they will use the lotus leaves hold that rice. Then they will throw in the river to feed the fish. So then the hero won't be eaten by the fish. Every boat have a dragon on the head. It represents Chinese power. You know, the dragon is the Chinese power. Phoenix is like the beauty. So then every boat has a dragon, but all the village people will roll the boat. So they have to be together. To keep the together, they have to play a percussion. So on each of the boat, then they also have this percussion band to competing, not just for keeping the rolling, also competing who has the more complete rhythm. Or some people start singing. So on each boat, you represent each village because each village have their own dialect or own music they like it. This piece is literally in the beginning, you can hear people, I mean, dong chang, dong chang, dong chang, dong chang. It's like you're going to play, then you can hear water behind, and then you can hear the percussion band, then you can hear the melody, then during the melody, then you can feel like somebody singing. Then the second ball came different rhythm. So they wanted to everybody little different. Then they will sing in different melody. Then later you can hear screaming. 加油,加油 is in Chinese word. It means go, go. Because not just introduce the story, most important introduce the pipa, how many sound we can imitate. Mm-hmm. So I think when I first came to America was 27 years ago. Not many people even know what the pipa was, and I think people heard the story. I've been telling this story. It's a true story, but it's so funny. Was my first tour. Somebody heard the radio say this Chinese woman played the pipa. Then after 5 minutes, somebody called, how could this Chinese woman play the pipa? So this story I've been telling everyone actually because that changed my whole life, because I was upset because the Chinese music is a 5,000 years old history, and for people it's 2,000. So how people even haven't heard of that? So then the first thing for me, a struck on me, is I wanted to educate the people who hasn't heard about Pipa. Both. One is for the people who have a Chinese heritage, or some of the people came from China for a study in America. I have many times when I go to college or they came to me. They said, I haven't heard a traditional Pipa solo concert in China. That's how weird it is, because in China is rock and roll, hip hop. They forgot their importance for their tradition to carry on. So my focus is to promote and pass on. So that's the reason for me it's very important to teach them, to lead them to ask me why you want to learn Chinese instrument. Based on 4 important facts. One is the Chinese dialect decided the melody and the flavor of the music style. Then geography and their personalities and the background. So example, Northern China, you think about it, Northern China is a big open field, a lot of mountain. Their life is not a very glamour. They don't have a very good transportation. Their work is very hard. So their personality is like hey, they just like a yell in the mountain. Because there don't not many people there, they will say hey. So their personality is much open, and because they're so open, but their geography also is like a lot of a mountain up north. Because their background was so difficult, their personality is so open, so their dialect and the music, you can absolutely in 10 minutes you will know. Next time when you go to a Chinese restaurant, you say, hey, that music is from north, that music is from south, because you think about it, their music is a dang dang di la dang da di da dang dang di la da. So if you draw the melody line, a lot of mountains there. But so example I'm going to show you is called the 山丹丹开花红艳艳, which means beautiful flower blossoming. Actually, this piece is called a red song because they use the folk tone. They just change the lyric. I mean, the title sounds like a Cultural Revolution, but the actual music, it is from north. It's from Shanbei. Shanbei, which means in central China, is kind of the Yellow River around that time, a big mountain. So their piece is very, very harsh. They are singing this, just you can sing. Shan dan dan da 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 la da 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 di la dong da 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 dong da dong. They just up and down, just like that. So I have a mix of student. Like we have some ABC, which is American born Chinese. We have Chinese from China, mainland China. We have some from Taiwan, Singapore, Hong Kong. So they all came here. Oh, we have some Japanese, Korean, and they wanted to know the roots too. So because Chinese history is in Asia is pretty important. So then I have a lot of Caucasians. They just never heard of such a thing. But when you go south, like Shanghai, Guangdong, they're so crowd. They cannot yell, "Hey, Michael!" If they do that, the whole street can hear. So they're talking much soft and also faster. So example, Mandarin, 你好吗? See, you see how big a jump. But when you speak Cantonese, it will be 你好吗? La, la, la. They're not much of a jump. Then their instruments, the groups, much less loud. But if you draw the melody, like a silk and bamboo music, you draw the line, just look like a river. And because they're so next to the river, then they got a more open for the economy, or export or export, import, export. So their life is not harsh as the northern people. So now you can see. Now, if you hear the music is very calm, not a jump a lot, and the music instrumentation is very soft, you don't need to ask. That definitely from south. It's not learning instrument. It's not learning just a piece. They're learning the entire whole background, the geography and dialect and everything, the personality. In the other hand, we'll go to it's called the Song of Joy. It's just from silk and bamboo music. They're just a so they just almost not more than 6 or 5, just 3, 4 the most. They jump from step to see, they just go a circle.